We are about to have some fun today. Look, have you ever found yourself dealing with the same things over and over and over and over again? And you're like, man, why me? Well, what if I told you that the main reason you kept going through what you was going through? Because you still ain't learned your lesson, fam. I'm going to talk to you today about how to prepare for what is inevitably coming your way. And we're going to make sure that you're ready and right. However, we're going to talk about that right after this intro. Today, what a message that I have for you. Look, I am not somebody who is some Bible thumping individual. However, my faith is still my faith. You know, I talk about being the if. Well, a part of that is being an intentional father, intentional family, intentional friend. But all of that is on the foundation of intentional faith. Because those are the three relationships that'll make or break your life. And what you believe and behave according to will do the same thing. So you might want to make sure that you're in alignment with the truth. Well, what's that? The truth. Well, the truth will set you free. Therefore, a lie will set you up. And today I want to talk about how you can avoid being set up for failure and set up for success as it pertains to the challenges that are inevitably coming your way, fam. If you want to know where I'm coming from, it's this book in the Bible called James. Now, I love James. The reason I love James is because it is one of the same books that I have been privileged to actually speak from in the worst of worst scenarios. A couple years back, I lost a very close friend of mine. My first friend, as a matter of fact. He passed away due to a health failure, and I don't take it lightly. Now, ironically, I was asked to actually be the person to deliver the eulogy at this man's funeral. And believe it or not, I did not know I was going to be up there speaking for as long as I was. They had me all on that program for stuff that I didn't even know I was signing up for. However, it was the book of James that I pulled exactly what the message was meant to be from. So in this book, in James, it says, it's the first chapter. It says, consider it all joy. Now I can go off the top of my head with this one. It says, count it all joy, dear brethren, when going through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. And allow patience to have its full work. Therefore, you will be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. This whole piece right there is the solution and formula to the transformation of your situation. Now, where are you getting at, Jared? Okay, listen. Did you know that scientifically, anything that is going to develop and grow has to first go through a process called entropy? And in that process of entropy, and in some cases, as well as chaos theory, this is a physics term. Now, I learned from Myron Golden, who learned from another man, Austin from Boston, but all principles are microcosms of one another. Now, the thing about a principle is if it's something that is consistent and no matter where you apply it, it is going to work. This means it doesn't change. And principles that don't change are like governing laws of the universe. So the creator of the universe set these principles in place. Because those principles are set in place, that means it doesn't matter who applies them, they're still going to work. It's like gravity. What goes up must come down, right? Well, it's also like Newton's third law. It says that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, or as I've heard it stated as the law of polarity. There's no one side of anything. There's always more than one side. There's always at least two sides. So when you consider all of these facts right here as it pertains to these principles, there is another verse that says that great are the works of the Lord, studied by those who delight in them. If you delight in your life, then you should delight in your options and opportunities to take advantage of what God has already set in place so that you can succeed even when it looks like you are failing. Yeah. So when we're looking at James right there and it says, count it all joy. This means that you are to see it as an opportunity. Later, consider it. Count it means consider it. Think carefully about it, how you choose to view it, your perspective on the matter. Count it all, meaning see it all as an opportunity for joy. When you go through various trials. Knowing is comprehensive. And the craziest part about this is the wisdom that is being instructed is that whenever you are going through a situation that you didn't see coming, there's a right and proper response to it. And it is one to see it as opportunity. Man, we waste so much energy on the wrong responses that by the time we actually come to our senses to give it the right response, we done already wore ourselves out. We done already put ourselves in a position that is already just as bad as the condition. Now, if we don't choose to put ourselves in an undesirable circumstance, then all we have to do is respond to the circumstance that's already undesirable in a manner that actually produces momentum. See, when you have momentum being developed, what happens is, what does it say? That an actual object in motion will stay in motion in the same direction at the same speed, unless it is enacted upon by an outside force. I'm telling you physics principles. However, these principles were created by God himself. So that means these principles are not just for science in that context. That means these are the formulas for your success. You got to get in momentum. You got to get in motion. You got to literally continue forward. You can't stop. Hence why persistence is so important. When we are going through various trials, we have to remember what we already know. It's when we forget. See, if we are to know what is coming our way, that means we know that trials are coming, challenges are coming, hardships are coming, hard times are coming and at some point in our lives. But in order for us to develop and grow and become the person that we are meant to be, we have to go through those resistances. Matter of fact, I got to put some music on for that. We have to go through the resistance, because if we never go through the resistance, that means we can't develop our persistence. If this is a fact, which it is, that means that anytime someone wants to grow, they have to go through the process of being broken down first. This is called symmetry breaking. And you probably like, hold on, Jared, where are you getting all these scientific? Listen, I homeschool with my wife, so I'm always learning some stuff. When it comes down to what's referred to as symmetry breaking, this is another physics law. And with symmetry breaking, that means that which is has to no longer be. It has to cease from being what it was in order to become what it is meant to be. We're more familiar with this when it comes to caterpillars or seeds, knowing that the actual caterpillar becomes a butterfly or the seed becomes a tree. Well, the process requires it to go from one state of being into another state of being. And those states of beings are identities. So when you shift your identity, this is literally you becoming something that you were always meant to be. Now, here's the craziest part about it all. It says, count it all joy, dear brethren, when going through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. Produce means brings forth. It means gives birth to. It means gives life to. It means it comes from where it was at, like a baby in the womb. And when it comes out, it is life. Well, the thing about life is whenever we are going through scenarios and situations that we don't want to go through, we don't expect to go through, those scenarios and situations are always meant to produce more of the life that is already in us. This is called cultivation. If a seed is put into the actual ground, it has to be cultivated. In order for it to produce what it is meant to produce, it has to be cultivated. So as it goes through its entropy, meaning while it's down there in the ground, it is in the dark, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't look good, it's nasty, it's dirty, it's ugly, it's all of that, it's chaos because there's no order. Where there is disorder, there is the opposite of that, which is order. Well, the order is around it. And it pulls from the order of its surroundings in order to become what it needs to be. It takes time, though. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, as you go into this week, into this month, I mean, it's about to be February, fam. It's going just like that. You are going to be met with trials and troubles and challenges that you didn't see coming, and some of them you do see coming. And because those challenges are a part of the process of you becoming who you are meant to be, you have to know how to respond to them. Because if you don't respond appropriately, then you're going to find yourself having to go through the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again until you finally get the lesson. The purpose of the lesson that needs to be learned is so that you can become the person that somebody, hear me out, is waiting for you to become. If you never become the person, that is because you failed over and over and over and over and over again. But here's the thing about failing. Failing is an event. It's not an identity. You do not have to accept the idea of being some type of failure. It's an event, not a person. And you're not a failure. You're just someone who is in a process of learning, and it's taking you a little bit more time. Why? Because you don't know that you don't know certain things. So if you don't know that you don't know, how can you apply what you didn't know? It don't work that way. Well, check this out. Because what you are going to come into is inevitable, then the right response is to see it as an opportunity for what? Growth. This is where the law of energy transformation comes in. This is where you take everything that you have already experienced in the past, everything you've already outlasted, everything you've already endured, everything you've already outlived. You take that and you leverage with it. You leverage what you've already experienced in order to know better and how to respond right now. Because if you go through something, it just might hurt. It might cause some pain. It might be uncomfortable. It might even cause a scar. But let me tell you something about scars. Those scars are proof that you suffered, but they're also proof that you endured it all and you still here. Because if not, they will be wounds. If I show you my scars, then that's evidence and proof to you that your wounds can be healed. Well, if you are an overcomer, that means that you've outlasted those scars. You've outlived those scars. Those scars do not define you. They simply add definition to you, to who you are already as far as your character is concerned and your ability to continue to move forward over and over and over and over again. So you can see the situation and scenario as an opportunity for joy because you know that you about to level up. You know you about to take off. You know you about to transform. But because you know this, you have the access to the awareness of what your options are. The question is, what are you looking at? And how are you seeing it? Are you seeing your situation as something that cause you to fall backwards and hit the ground and do nothing? Or are you seeing it as an opportunity to grow and develop and become more of what you already are? See, here's the reality. Here's the truth. The truth is, if you are to count it all joy when going through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, then the other part is you have to let patience have its perfect work. Therefore, you will be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. You can't be complete if you don't complete the process. The problem is many of us try to do it alone. We try to do it by ourselves. We try to outlast things that we were never meant to endure alone to begin with. Even if you go all the way back to the beginning, number one thing to say about man is it's not good for man to be alone. It ain't just talking about males. It's talking about mankind, Adam, mankind. So if you are looking at your situation as something that you have to go through solely by yourself and it's just all you, then that is where you are falling short. Your perspective is limited. And a limited perspective will always produce unlimited assumptions. However, an unlimited perspective will produce at the very least of an accurate understanding. If you've already experienced some of this stuff before, then the accuracy of your understanding is you got this, but you shouldn't do it alone. Because the worst of situations in life are the times where somebody else had to come and uplift us. Somebody had to come and show us that we were not alone. Somebody had to come and show us and remind us that, hey, man, listen, you ain't the only one going through it and you ain't the first and you dang sure ain't going to be the last. But you have to continue to persevere and push forward. But you're not meant to do it alone. And because you aren't meant to do it alone, here's the other piece to it all. If you're not meant to go through what you're going through by yourself, that means you need to build a team. Yeah. And if your team is intentionally put together, then this is how you can move forward in such a way that people they like, how did you do it? And it'll look like it was all you, but it wasn't. It was those you kept around you. In order to build a good team, you have to do this. You got to have the right vibe. What's vibe? Values, intentions, beliefs, expectations. If we can't vibe together, we can't thrive together. And if you are connected to people who do not share the same values, intentions, beliefs, and expectations, then this is possibly why you continue to go through the same thing, because you might not have anybody in your life that's willing to actually check you and tell you that you tripping. That's actually willing to hold you by the hand instead of saying you grown. Should nobody hold you by the hand? What kind of nonsense is that? The principles are, when I was a child, someone had to help me to understand what I didn't know. Therefore, as an adult, the same principle stands. The only difference is people pay people a lot of money to get the understanding, but a friend gives it to you for free. Why? Because y'all are connected. And if y'all vibe together, y'all can definitely thrive and succeed together. Therefore, when you're going through something that you didn't expect to be going through, you're not supposed to be dealing with that all by yourself. You got to have the right team. People who respect your time. People who respect your actual life, your education, the things that you've learned and experienced and you've developed an understanding on. You need to make sure you connected to people who have the same level of respect for your time, your education, the algorithm that you operate inside of, as well as the memories that y'all are willing and desiring to create. Why would you have anybody on your team, which is time, education, algorithm, and memories? Why would you have anybody on your team that's not helping to edify and build you up? That don't make sense. See, when you look at time, people think, oh, time is money. No, it ain't. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. You run out of money, you can get some more. You run out of time, you ain't getting no more time, fam. That's not how that works. So if you run out of time and you're no longer living, that means you ran out of life. So to run out of time is to run out of life. Therefore, to waste your time is to waste your life. How much life do you have to waste on people that ain't got nothing to do with you in your time? You don't have much at all. Well, the thing about time is most people are unaware that they don't know how much they actually have. It's funny because we know it, but we just don't think about it. You don't know how many days you got left on this earth. But what you do know is if you are going through a struggle and a challenge and a trial right now, you know that this time that you're in right now is all you can think about and focus on. Well, what if I told you that the way to get through that is to stay in momentum by being connected to the right people who will not waste your time? See, education, the word educate means to train up a child. It's dealing with child rearing, etymologically speaking. However, if you are being educated in something, you are being disciplined. This is another form of discipleship. You are being trained. So you want people who are skilled at the things that you don't know how to do. Because what you've experienced has also so much value that they want what you have to offer and vice versa. Well, if iron sharpening iron is what's going on right here, what you don't know, they can teach you. And what they don't know, you can teach them. This is called intentionality. With relationships that are meant to be intentional, this is where connection takes place. Anytime connection is taking place, you have things going in the way that they're supposed to go. That's called ebb and flow. And if you are in flow, that means you are technically prospering, even though you think you are not. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you have not given up and you are still here, then by definition, you are winning. Now, how and why is that? Well, the actual word, check me on this. Go to etymaline.com and type in the word win, or look at the etymology of the word win, W-I-N, win. If you look and you see that the word win is what I'm about to tell you, then you need to change your perspective on whatever it is you're going through, because win means to strive for, to push for, and to struggle. So if you are striving for, you are pushing for, persevering, and struggling to gain and obtain what it is you are aimed at, that means you are winning by definition, even if you haven't succeeded yet. And if you have not succeeded in the thing that you actually are aiming to achieve, then that means your belief needs an adjustment. Remember, I told you, the truth will set you free, but a lie will set you up. So if you believe that you're losing because you feel like you are failing, and you don't know that this is what's referred to as entropy, also chaos theory, or symmetry breaking, these are all physics terms. But if you didn't know that you have to go down before you can go up, then you are mistaken. This means that while you are going through what you are going through, the process is meant to produce fruit. And fruit don't come overnight. It takes time. Remember how I told you don't have time to waste? Remember how I told you that what you are learning is going to be useful for somebody else? Remember, okay, so that means the algorithm. An algorithm is a step-by-step solution to a given problem. That means whatever you get plugged into, you solve just by being there. And you need people in your life like that too. And then memories. Stop creating memories with people you don't desire to have memories of. Because that's a waste of your time. So your team needs to be intentional. And the struggle that you are going through and you have not given up inside of, that also is evidence that you are winning by definition. And if you are already winning, that means you need to just continue to go forward so that you can become the mature individual that everybody that is waiting on you to become is waiting with bated breath. Look. If you would have counted all joy while going through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, and then you let patience have its perfect work, therefore you'll be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. This means that what you go through requires you to change and transform. And as you are changing and transforming, this is a lot going on up here. And the work of the mind is literally the greatest grind. As you fuel your mind, you make sure that you got the right people in your corner, on your team, in your circle, in your life. That's not wasting your time. Because what happens is when you become the person that this trial is taking you through the journey of becoming, you will produce fruit and you will be useful and fruitful. See, what you've gone through is so that you can be useful for somebody outside of yourself. Because here's the reality. No tree eats of its own fruit. And you are called to be fruitful. You are called to be useful. So the fruit that you are producing is meant to be given to somebody else as a gift or as a fee. You choose. That's your choice. But at the end of it all, the wisdom that comes from all that you have outlasted and overcome is proof and evidence that God got your back. God got your back like chiropractic. And all you got to do is make the right adjustments to your belief systems. And if you believe that you can get through it, you can go through it, and you got this, and you've been through it before, then you need to remember that. Don't forget. Because what you forget is the reason that you got to be reminded. And as you go through these tests and you overcome each and every trial, each and every obstacle, each and every challenge, each and every scenario that you did not desire to be in, you simply become more and more fruitful and useful. And why would you complain about being useful? Because the word useful is also literally valuable. Valuable means it's useful, and you useful, fam. And your usefulness is evidence in the fact that you are fruitful. Now, you may not like the fruit, but it ain't about you, because don't no tree eat of its own fruit. So if you're producing good fruit for somebody else because you keep going through the things that you're going through, continue to be the winner that you are. Keep winning. Don't give up. Don't stop. Why would you stop now? Why would you give up now? Why would you put yourself in a situation that you don't have to be in? Because you didn't put yourself in the situation you already in to begin with. You're not meant to stop where you're at. You're meant to get to the destination. And the destination is your destiny, but it's for somebody else to meet you. Don't give up, fam. Stay the course and stay focused, because there is something coming. Every single day, every day has troubles of its own. You will be challenged this week. You will be challenged this upcoming month. You will be met with all types of resistance, but it's all meant to build you up. Don't stop the process of growth just because you don't like what's going on. Instead, reevaluate your circle and get the right people on your team so that you can grow and do this thing appropriately. Remember that vibe: values, intentions, beliefs, and expectations. If we can vibe together, then we can thrive together. And don't you want to be somebody who is succeeding at a level that can't nobody comprehend? I mean, don't you want to be the person that don't just leave nothing behind? You go through what you go through and you pull from it over and over and over again. This is called the actual transference of energy. When you're dealing with energy conservation, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply takes on a new form. What if you found out that the actual trial that you went through was meant to produce energy that you were meant to be using so that you can continue to move forward in momentum, in motion towards the destination of the person that is waiting on you to help them? You're useful. You're valuable. And you're capable of being very fruitful. Just don't give up where you at. Don't stop. Keep going. Stay the course. Stay focused. And know that you got this, because the trial is just an opportunity. It's opposition for opportunity for you to grow and become exactly more of who it is somebody else requires you to be. And it might be your kids. It might be your spouse. It might be your children's children someday. You don't know who is in need of you to grow and go through all that you're going through. Just know that there's a purpose behind it, because whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. I will go as far as to say it was assigned to your life. The question is, how intentional are you willing to be about it all? Choice is yours. I pray you stay focused. Much love. And till next time, my friend, y'all take care.